I thought we were going to stay away from family and kids and get away from them and concentrate on football. You know, even grassroots. I mean, I'm watching my girls play at their local club and going, wow, you know, that's better than we played. You know, the way they pass the ball around, the movement, the rotations around. I think the knowledge of coaches has gained so much more than, you know, when I was in youth team. Why can't the ref and the mentor have that recording? Why can't they go through it and go, actually, have a look at this? A bit like if you went with a central midfield player and look, you didn't need to press the ball there. You wanted to drop off, or look, you wanted to open the shoulder here. You know, because you can see your winger and you can play that ball into them. Whatever it may be, I'd like to see that introduced for referees.
Hello and welcome to the YesRef Podcast with me, Olly Ballinger, and co-host Ben Williamson. Ben, how are you, mate?
Hi, pal. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I am very well.
Tremendous. Well, we're very excited today to welcome on our next guest, Steve Franks. Steve, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, chaps. You both good?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Look at you with your nice little branded jumper, t-shirt. Love that.
Yep.
Have you got your YesRef
and
on yet?
And you've got the same.
Yeah, have you got your YesRef on yet? Have we still got to send it? Has Ollie still got to send it?
No, you still got to send it to me. Keep promising it, but it's not been delivered.
all good things come to those who wait. Anyway, Steve, tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce us. Family, kids, background.
No, I thought we were going to stay away from family and kids and get away from them and concentrate on football. Your background, probably failed footballer, married, 3 kids, 2 dogs, 2 cats, horses, because Miguel's ride. So a busy man come to work for a rest, my friend.
So you're a failed footballer. Where did you get to? Grassroots, or did you get a little bit higher?
I was going to kick that grassroots, to be fair. No, didn't make it. I was at Reading as a kid and didn't make it, and then just went and played non-league. Went over to Aldershot, Farnborough, played that level of non-league football, and got into coaching. Actually, to be fair, I went out to the States to coach out there for 3 months, which was absolutely brilliant. It ignited my passion for coaching.
Whereabouts?
And then when I say again?
Whereabouts in the States?
We were based in Atlanta. I went out with, I think they're called, I'm not sure if they're running at the moment, because that was bloody about 20 odd years ago.
Oh, you don't look that old, mate.
Yeah, I could have said 2 weeks ago. About 20 odd years ago, and it was out with a company called British Soccer, which changed to Challenger Sport. But it was all soccer based out there. I think they're now gone to multi-sports, but we were based in Atlanta. Spent 3 weeks in Florida. We travelled around a week everywhere, but it was absolutely fantastic, you know, in terms of seeing back then how good the States could be at soccer. I mean, the girls were fantastic. It is a women's sport out there where the guys have got gridiron, baseball, and basketball, so they've got them as their main sports. So I think if you fail at all them, then you go and play soccer.
Did you find it really easy to call it soccer when you were out there, or did we
I struggled with football. Yeah, and they look at you a bit weird. You go,
we're not playing football. We're playing soccer.
Our football's first.
So you were out in the States and then come back and had the coaching bug.
Yeah, but I got offered two full-time positions. One with an ex-pro who played at Southampton, who's running his own private soccer school, and one was a local footballing community over at Farnborough Town. Both offered me full-time jobs when I got back from the States, which was brilliant. And I just started coaching, and I was playing non-league football, and I worked my way up the coaching badges and just really, really enjoyed it. And met a chap, I think he's not far from your neck of the woods, a chap called Jim Kelman. He was a coach mentor, and he was absolutely fantastic. He almost he opened my eyes to a new world of football. You think you know it until you go into a different area of the game,
like refereeing.
Refereeing.
You know football, right?
Yeah, never done it. And then a bit like fish, you know, doing the league. It's a whole new concept, you know, way of looking at football. It's fascinating. So yeah, I come back. Took a full-time position, and then when I was lucky enough, when I was coaching I took the job with a chap called Steve Wood. He ran his own soccer schools. He played for Southampton, and I got into the academy coaching the academy kids down at Southampton. I worked there part-time for 5 years, and I spent 10 years in the academy system, which was brilliant. Got to work with some young people. I don't think they're very young now, but got to work with some good young talent who are now finishing their careers. But yeah, it was a real good eye opener. So it gave me the coaching bug and gave me a coaching career, and I went on and got my coaching badges. To be fair,
how did that compare? like the academy stuff to you playing as non-league? Was it like two different worlds?
Yeah, totally two different worlds. Do you know what? It's really difficult. You finished my non-league football career because you end up going, that's not right. Was not like this, because I was spending time with FA coaches who'd been there, played at a really good level, working with national coaches, and they were basically open your eyes up. So when you're getting back into the real world of football, non-league, where they haven't done coaching badges or maybe not had that experience, when you question them, they don't like it when you question them. They're like a yes man. So when I question things, they were like, no. So it did actually ruin my playing, and also it ruins watching football because I can't watch football much anymore. Even going to a game where you got somebody to your left hand side screaming obscenities at a player and just doesn't understand things. So it's quite hard to watch it. Now.
Yeah. And Ben, probably a similar question to you. Like, do you find refereeing academy football different to refereeing non-league football?
Oh, massively. Yeah. I think it's just a different style of football, right? Because they're coached completely differently. I think the academy football that I officiate, they're on the verges of the first team professional football, right? They play the game completely different. It's normally pass around the back, pass it to the keeper, find that bit of space, lump it forward, and that's the tactic. Knackering for assistant referee. Doggy is back between the keeper and the left back. Keeper right back, keeper left back. I'm like, oh, come on. Is that the professional way, Steve? Like maintaining the ball? Is that like keep the ball moving?
Yeah, well,
tie the players out.
Yeah, I think now I was speaking to a friend of mine, and we're talking about when we played compared to now. I mean, you have a look now with the likes of Pep, the style that he's brought to the country and what he's doing, and you look at things now, and even grassroots. I mean, I'm watching my girls play, at their local club, and going, wow. That's better than we played. The way they pass the ball around, the movement, the rotations around. I think the knowledge of coaches has gained so much more than when I was in youth teams and stuff like that. I think it's just and you can see it, can't you? Go on YouTube, you can look at how people coach, look at different systems, the tactics, the strategies behind it. I think it's got so dangerous. Is it getting a bit too technical? And too tactical, and not allowing the freedom and flexibility. But that's another reason why I enjoy doing the league, because I get to go around and watch different systems and styles of play. Like you're saying, Ben, they pass through the back. You have one team that knock it up top long. What's right? What's wrong? There isn't a right or wrong way, is there? It's just the style of play that suits your players and maybe against the opposition.
You said you came back and got your coaching badges. What are those badges that everyone refers to, and do you have to have them? What happens if you don't?
Yeah, when I was working in the academy system, you had to have at least it was your B license. They keep changing them over now, and I got my A license. I got that when I was probably late 20s. Probably about.
And what does that entail? What's the difference between a B and an A? And
it's depth of knowledge. You look at it's 11-11 in your A license. You actually have to coach in a game. It's totally changed now in terms of the way that is done. I mean, I got my badge. God, that must have been almost 20 years ago. Yeah, probably about 20 years ago, where it's totally changed. And also they've got youth modules that came in. I'm not sure where they are now. But I think that was good, age appropriate, because when I was working in the academies, I started off with small-sided football under 11s, under 12s, and that you don't need to know about 11-11. You just need to know about the principles of the game. But as you go on, when I worked up to I worked at Southampton for 5 years with small-sided football. I moved to Fulham where I worked with the under-14s up to under-16s. That was 11 aside, so that's when I got my A license as soon as I got to Fulham, because you need it, because if not, then you can't, especially with EPPP. Well, EPPP wasn't around when I was there, but they still had their criteria for coaching, and then the youth modules come in, which I think is right. You at different ages you need to know, mentally, psychologically and physically where these players are.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a progression, isn't it? Surely what you teach players at 7, 8 and 9s is very different to 12s, 13s, which again changes at 18s, 19s, 21s, surely.
Yeah, and now you're looking at, I was speaking to my old academy manager, Hugh Jennings at Southampton, probably must have been about 6 months ago. He's now gone to Fulham. He's had a great career, and he was talking about the implementation of and you'll see this from what you do, Ben, is from the youth team to the first team when you've got that, what they call it, under 21s, 23s, that development phase. Yeah. You're on your own. You go from being going into a scholar, being from a scholar into a pro. You're not in this bubble anymore. You're in a big wide world, and the pressure for you and mental stress must be, and they put someone in place to deal with that, because I think it's really, especially really important at that age, especially from 19 plus, or 18 plus. It's a real tough time for them.
I was going to say, I think it'd be similar to referees, like referees at 18, 19, going out and refereeing, semi-pro, getting up to non-league at a young age. It doesn't take long to get a decision wrong and for you to sort of walk away as a referee and question that, So, and having the support network there is very fundamental to being successful.
There was,
and
Olly,
being able to grow.
Just to jump in there was, when I was at Southampton, it was brilliant. We had young referees who would come and ref, and there'd be no, you weren't allowed to shout at them. You could only encourage them. And they had a mentor, and there was always a mentor. And I thought, that was brilliant for these young coaches, because you're looking at developing the players, you're looking at developing the coaches, but you've got to look at developing that referee as well. Because, like you said, you get up to a certain bit, then when you get up to non-league, then you're going, right, that's a totally different kettle of fish. The etiquette goes straight out the window, as probably you're well aware, Ben. You get called names that you've not even heard before.
Steve, I got a question for you on that, right? So I was out tutoring a referee's course yesterday, and we were part of that. We were watching a game, and one of the coaches for one of the teams gave a player crossed the ball in, and it wasn't a great cross. It went straight into the hands of the keeper. They had a lot of other options, didn't use them. And the coach's immediate thing was, no worries, better luck next time, keep your head up. Really praising, really nice, you can do better. 30 seconds later, they felt that their player was pushed in the back. The referee didn't give it, and it was straight to a couple of expletives. You're not very good. Turn around in frustration. Why do you think we can praise our own players and our own team when something hasn't gone quite that well, yet we flip into this really negative mindset to a match official? Why is that? Can you help us?
Do you know what? I haven't got the answer for you. I'd love to have an answer for you. I've only just got sort of, like you said, my experience and my own thoughts on it.
What are you like as a parent, Steve, with your girls playing?
I've got a boy who played as well, so I've learned from my son. To be fair, you want him to do really well, and you probably got, I thought, well, I came out of the academy system because I wanted to coach my son. If not, I was not wasting, but my time was going away. Whereas Ben, you're here, there, and everywhere with academy football. You could be up at Leicester, down to Cardiff, across to wherever. You are here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
So your weekend's totally taken up. So I stopped it, to coach my son Samuel when he was about 7, 8, and you have to learn very quickly. It's not academy football. It is grassroots. And I tended to, I was harder on him than I was anyone else. But go back to my girls, Ollie. My daughter had a cup game at the weekend, and I stayed really quiet. I didn't do anything. I didn't say. I just smiled, gave her thumbs up when she'd done something well, and let her play, because I think that element of, I was trying to control it with my son to try and make him better regarding, rather than just letting him play and just enjoy it, work out for himself. So I thought to my daughter, you could be standing in that little half space there, or you could open your shoulder up. She's got to learn it out for herself and let the coaches work. And I did notice on the sideline, to be fair, a lot of parents are shouting instructions, and you're going, they're not right. They're probably not what the coach is saying. But I've been there and done it, so pot kettle black, to be fair.
I always find that great, listening to parents scream and shout at their kids or another kids. I'm like, shouldn't the coach be telling them where to go, or fall back, or put the tackle in, or whatever? Surely.
And they're probably contradicting what the coach is saying to them. So, and to go back,
contradicting the educated people, right?
Yeah. And to go back onto your question of referees, I like to think I was a coach that you try and stand back and I don't get involved because the way I look at it, refs are human beings just like the players. The players make mistakes. Referees will make mistakes. We haven't
We
got
do.
we haven't got VAR at every grassroots game.
Don't want
have
it
we,
either, do we?
Mike in your phone going, yeah, no, that's even though they got it wrong. So it's a bit where you're just thinking, it's very, very difficult. I just think if there could be a structure and a system, which is really important, I think for the game, grassroots right the way up is about recruiting referees and retaining referees. How do we do that? I think we do that through a structure and a system of mentoring, exactly like you do in the coaching world. I don't know if you guys have that in your worlds as referees, but you want somebody to do that with you. And I think now with all this modern technology and companies like VO where you are recording games, why can't the ref have that recording? Why can't the ref and the mentor have that recording? Why can't they go through it and go, actually, have a look at this? A bit like if you went with a central midfield player and look, you didn't need to press the ball there. You wanted to drop off, or look, you wanted to open your shoulder here, because you can see your winger and you could play that ball into them. Whatever it may be, I'd like to see that introduced for referees. There's only one referee in the whole of my, let's say since the video has been in play, has actually asked for footage. And you'd love referees to ask you footage because you go, there you are, have a look at it.
I completely agree. Is it because some referees are just too scared to ask?
I don't know, but I have to throw that question back to you. You guys,
I'm different for me because I get it recorded every time it gets sent to me.
Yeah.
If there is a way it was just really easy to upload the link somewhere, and if you wanted it, it's free to go and get because it's not private information, is it? You might want to limit it to a couple of people, or you share the link and go, look, it's there if you want it. If you don't, it's okay. But here it is. Is there something football could do different? And the clubs proactively go, as a matter of course, we mark the referee or we do whatever. Oh, by the way, here's the link. If you want it, you've got it.
Yeah, for a coach, a player, and someone that runs a league, is there not have the FA not got this referees department that looks at this and comes up with ideas like you'd go, well, each county should have something like this. I can understand its resources and you need mentors to be in place and it's time. It's financially could they afford to do it? Can you not? But you are looking at is there a way of doing this? Is there a way of like you said, upload it into your mentor? Your mentor has, I don't know, 8 referees underneath them, and they go through their game footage and just highlight a couple of bits and pieces for them to work on for the following week.
Yeah, look, I think like growing up as a referee 20 years ago, we probably didn't have as much as the mentoring as what is in place today. I mean, the level of mentoring today is a lot better than what it was. Mm-hmm. Is there more that can be done? I definitely think there is. And I think we probably just need to take advantage of the technology that's around more, particularly if we've got grassroots clubs using technology that, videos of games and puts it in the cloud for someone to go and take away. So I definitely think there's more can be done. There was one thing you said earlier, Steve, that was really interesting, which was after becoming a coach and going through your qualifications, you now can't watch football the same.
No.
Right? Now, I'm the same ever since becoming a referee. Yeah. I just, all of a sudden, I watch football and all I care about is the referee's performance.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting, like, just to hear that from you and just understand what that looks like from a coach's perspective.
Yeah.
Like, just looking at the game differently.
Yeah, you do. You look at the game. I think it's not watching the game; it's who you're watching the game with. So I'm not sure if you're like that with, if you go with your pals or you go out to a pub and watch one of the big games. You always get somebody or a group of people probably shouting at the referee. You go, no, he's probably got that one right.
Yeah,
he's all right. He's done well there, or you can see, or maybe his positioning wasn't good on that one, but it's. Same for me, coaching, I can't go and watch the games in big groups of people because it's lovely to watch it with big groups of people because you've got that environment and, it's very exciting and emotions run high. but you go into almost like coach mode. There's not probably one game where I've managed to switch off, apart from my daughter's game, and just go, do you know what, just enjoy it. But when you got big games and Premier League games or European games and World Cup games, you definitely don't. I don't want to be in it. You won't find me in a pub or near anyone who hasn't got a clue about football.
So we've talked a lot about coaching. Let's talk about your role that you do today.
Yes.
Tell us a little about your role at the YDL and what the YDL is.
Wow. Okay. YDL Youth Development League. We're on our 9th season. We're looking forward to next year because this will be our 10th year anniversary, which is a milestone.
For sure.
The league is for colleges and basically FE, further education, for 16 to 19-year-olds in full-time education. It was created because there was a need for a football for all league, let's say. That's probably the best way of doing it, which is localised. That doesn't matter about the level of player. We've got a tiered system in there which we can jig around the teams. It goes up and down the country. We've got divisions up in the northeast, in the Midlands, south. We've got 6 divisions there. We've got a Premier division in that one as well. So that's where our tiering system come in place. But the need is in education. A lot of the young learners were falling out of education because they weren't getting into teams they thought they were registered with one team. And again, learning. I've been on 9 years worth of CPD for football and the league is because it's just totally different. I didn't realise once you registered one league, if you had 2 teams in there, you couldn't play for the other team unless you had a transfer. So a lot of young people were dropping out of the football side of the programs, not necessarily the education side of the programs, but the football side, because they're upset because they thought they should be in Team A rather than Team B. Now, we come up with the idea of creating, I'd like to call it, the development league is that's what it's known as, is because what it should be complemented with an elite league above it, which we have. We've got the National Youth Alliance League, the Youth League, and the AOC run their own top level leagues. So what we do is say to these teams that are in these leagues, look, put your second string team with us, and what you can do is you can dual register your 40, 50, maybe 60 learners in both. And then you can truly have player development because you can put them in Team A for 1 week and then drop them down in Team B if they need a bit of work. Also, it's a lot of the rules come from my upbringing within academy system where we've got roll on roll off subs, and it's the same for both teams. So both teams got the same playing field to work with. So it's excellent. So it's roll on roll off. It's so that everyone gets involved in playing football, and we've got a League Cup, we've got a Champions of Champions, where our divisional winners in the Midlands will play the champions of the divisions from the south, and we just have a Champions of Champions which you guys officiate at, which is great. So in a whirlwind, that's who we are, that's what we do. We've got this year we've done really well. We've got 75 teams registered for the league, and we've got over 2,500 players currently at the moment registered for the league. That will grow because they're still enrolling learners, they're still registering the players, so we'll still get a couple more through there. But really, it's just create a framework for these young people to play football in that's localised.
Yeah. What's it been like wearing a different hat? So chairman of the league. What's that been like for you?
It's been, I think I said to you just a minute ago, it's a massive learning curve. It's huge. I've got a great team with me. I've got a league secretary called John Goodyear. He spent 25 years working, well, being a secretary at Fleet Town Football Club, and his knowledge and his attention to detail and his memory is unbelievable for names and numbers. He's a lot better than me. But we bounce things off. He's definitely got, has educated me right the way through on what we can do, what we can't do. So, we have rules and regulations. We have fines. We don't want to fine our member clubs, but we just need them to make sure we run and operate in the best way for the players and the coaches. to make sure the season runs smoothly. But yeah, to cut a long story short, yeah, it's been 9 years worth of CPD, totally different. I thought I knew football from playing to coaching. I thought it'd be an easy transition, but probably like me going into refereeing, I'd be like duck out of water. But no, I've managed to get hold of it and managed to love it, enjoy it, and work with it.
What's one of the challenges you've faced, biggest challenges with the league? Has it been understanding the levels, the tiering, or is it something else?
Not the levels and tiering. That happens naturally because you can see. I think what's difficult as well for the clubs that we work with, they've got a 2-year cycle where learners will come in at year 12, they go to year 13, and then they move on. So it's quite difficult to judge levels of teams. What we judge is levels of the clubs, because obviously we've got big clubs in terms of footballing communities like West Ham, Millwall, Charlton. We've got non-league clubs, and they can go from a range of step 5 up to a national league club. And we've got private academies as well. But it's just the tiering isn't the problem. Where it is just making sure the administration side of the league is actually run smoothly. That's the hardest point, because for me as a coach as well, the administration is never going to be a strong point, because you want to be on the field and on the grass with the players. But it's making sure players are registered before they play. It's making sure that the match confirmations are sent for the correct kick-off time, making sure people turn up at the right place. It's the match returns, and these are all new to me. Like when we first started, what's a match return? Well, match return is where you put your score in, you put your team on. You've got your goal scorers, you've got your people who've got red and yellow cards on it. So it's all the details of the match, and that goes on to the FA sites. And it's just managing. I think it's managing the clubs to make sure, compliance-wise, administration-wise, that they actually keep up to speed and keep up to date with what they need to do.
Okay, and so on the flip side, then, what's been the highlight over the last 9 years?
Wow,
one highlight you have to pick.
One. I don't know if I can pick one, Ben.
Okay, you can have two.
I've got about 10.
No,
one per year.
One per year. Yeah, that'd be brilliant. I think. Look, if I was encompass it all, it's seeing the young people play football.
That's what it's all about.
The level has increased. I can see from day one to the 9th season. Like we're talking about the tactics, the way they play, the facilities is becoming better and better and better. And watching these young people play football and play at the level they are is great. And don't get me wrong, it's brilliant to see these. We've had quite a few success stories of players that played in league, gone to make professional footballers, gone to pro clubs, which are great. But it's also for the young person that wants to run around as well. Mental and physical well-being is key. And that's something I do believe the league, provides. So a highlight would be just seeing these young people play football. One more highlight would be to see these young people get their medals and trophies at the end of the season, whether it is they've won a divisional winners, they won the league, i.e. They're winners of one of our cup competitions, or the young people that win the golden boots, i.e. the top goal scorers. To see their smiles on their faces when they get that is priceless. It's absolutely brilliant. And a third highlight I'd like to have as well, because I said I'd like three, is, do you know what? It is a pleasure to work with the staff at these football clubs. We've created some real long-term relationships. We've had founder clubs for now 9 seasons, and the relationships you build up. And John and myself, as a league, we get out every Wednesday to one of our divisions, and we go and watch a game. We pick a game, we go and watch it. The hospitality from our member clubs, brilliant. We built up some really, really strong relationships, and it's just nice. Me and John are people, and we just like networking and being around and providing a service.
Love that. Thank you.
Sorry, so many, but I couldn't.
It's great. I love that. I mean, you love what you do, right? So it's great that there's loads of highlights.
Where does it go from here, Steve? What's the next 5-10 years look like?
Wow, 5-10 years. I think I'll be a lot greyer.
I think I'll join that club as well.
Hopefully a couple of kids would have moved up by then, have a bit more free time. No, seriously. Well, look, 10-year anniversary is going to be amazing to hit 10 years. I didn't think it will go to where it go to.
Okay.
In the 9 seasons, I didn't believe it. Where would it go to? We'd like to, in the next 5 years, we'd like to increase the divisions, increase the teams in the divisions, just make it more localised. We'll look to get divisions around East Anglia, Manchester, because we're up at the northeast. We need to come down a little bit and join up with the Midlands. So I would like to join up the northeast with the Midlands and have a few more divisions inside there. I would love to get a girls' league running.
Okay.
I think that would be, especially with the way that the women's football and the Lionesses have really, I see it with my daughter, and you're going, wow, there is some really, really good players out there. And we were watching last night one of the Women's Super League games on TV. And do you know what? It's nice. So I think we'd like to do that. I think that would be quite a tough gig to get up and running, but we would like to do that. I think that would be something special to have, a boys and a girls league up and running. In the future, it would be nice to get maybe some representative sides up and going, because I think there is a need to showcase. We go around and we watch so many good players. Wow, there's some really, really good players. I think it'd be great to see if we could put a representative side for these young, to create a platform for these young people to be scouted or watched by clubs. I think that would be really nice, to have. And then one of the other last ones that I was saying to John and Victoria, who's our marketing and communications coordinator, was possibly linking up with a scheme called Turner's. It was Erasmus, and taking these young people out to Europe and experiencing what it's like out there. So that's all government funded. So to do with the FE provision. So around them, that's what I'd like to base it on: growing, expanding out to girls football, looking at representative side, and also seeing if we can link in with these government schemes to get the boys and girls out to different European countries to experience what it's like out there in the world of sport within Europe.
I love that. There's opportunities for there's loads of tournaments all over the world, right? That'd be great to get a YDL team or two out of those events.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough to referee them, so it's amazing to go and play with foreign players, right?
Yeah, it's another experience. I forgot to mention as well is other things that we would like to do with the league is just to make it more partners like yourself, because you've been brilliant, you guys. I know it's your podcast, I'm not going to say that, but you are. You two have been brilliant.
Thanks, Steve.
Because you sponsor our officials at our finals, and I'd like to bring more partners to the table, because it's not on the league's benefit; it's for our member club's benefit. VO, we work with VO. We're looking at a league exchange program for them, where the video footage will be put on a up in the cloud, and people will be able to access it. I'm speaking to an organisation at the moment about scholarships, not just out in the States, but out into Australia, into Canada. So I want to bring more partners that can offer more to the young learner / player in that FE space. Because they're not all going to be footballers. It's just, Ben, you'll probably know the percentage. What was it, 0.02 or something like this, in terms of make it at top level. It's so difficult. If they make it a non-league, that's brilliant, but you still probably need a job to go alongside it. So I'd like to sort of do as much advice and guidance as possible by introducing great partners like the company I'm talking to at the moment about scholarships out to different countries. VO, people are looking at the tech side, refereeing like you guys doing. There's loads of different avenues for these young people to go to, and also for the clubs to benefit from it, like yourselves. I know referees are really hard to get hold of, and you guys provide a good service, because our clubs not just run in our league, but they run in all the other. They might have under sevens right up to a first team. So there's lots of opportunities we'd like to bring to the table, guys.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I love it. I think the league's fantastic. The things that you can do moving forward is great. You touched on it a little bit around match officials and officials for your league. So how does it currently work? Is it league appointed officials? Do clubs have to find their own? What would you like to do different with officials
It's
moving
not
forward?
it's not league. We don't appoint. If we did, we'd be coming straight to you guys and go, look, can you sort it out for us? Help. It's another thing we don't know what to do. John does, by the way. I don't. John knows all. He's like the oracle. No, it's club appointed. So the club appoint their officials. And we point them to you guys because we know how difficult it is for clubs to get qualified members of staff, qualified match officials out to their games. We've tried to make it as easy as possible, by having just one match official and club linesman. But it's not. That's another thing, Ollie, I would like to improve and Ben, I'd like to improve and make sure we have 3 match officials on at every game. Doesn't matter what level it is, 3 match officials, because the young people deserve it. And it's nothing worse than being a substitute and then going, there's a flag.
Go around the line.
I don't know the rules, let alone these young people. It's go run the line. And by the way, your mates are shouting at you. Why aren't you sticking the flag up?
Or can you stick your flag
where's
up?
the lines on the pitch? Where's VAR? Come on.
yeah. I think, and I agree. There is certainly scenarios where you don't want to be an assistant referee as a player, for sure. But I think there are opportunities where you can probably make that opportunity to be an assistant referee or a referee and just make it transparent to a network.
Yeah.
And go, hey, there are these opportunities to come and referee local football in what I would say is probably a relatively safe environment.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to get some challenges, but there's also some positivity around it, because I expect some of your member clubs are quite strict on the discipline of their children or their students, should I say, around making sure that they focus on playing and less about what the referees decided to do, so.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see this new ruling that's coming, hasn't it, about the deduction of points for consistent poor, bad behaviour. I think that's right, and I think you guys will know more than me. I think it's driven by the referees' report, and I know something that we when we're talking about YesRef and what it brings to the table, and I think that there is really important if you've got that sort of dialogue. It's key, isn't it?
Yeah. Participation behaviour. Yeah, thanks, Ben. Yeah, I couldn't get my words out right.
Too much mum on that holiday.
Clearly too much, Steve. Clearly too much. The grammar's got worse. I think it's the feedback loop. It's just, what was your experience like? Was it good, bad, or ugly? And what was that for the home team, the away team, and the sports official, right? I think create a little loop, and then let's see where that takes us.
And do you know what? I don't. You guys come to our AGMs at the start of September for all of our divisions in our league, and I thought what you've done in terms of the Diamond 9, where you put the key areas in terms of safeguarding payment of the ref, and you say, look, go and put it in prioritise, these 9 points and put it in a Diamond 9. And what you had there, and when you had secretaries, coaches, and then you guys were officials, you're going, wow, the answer, you can see the answers change with the different personnel that you'd have in there with their coaches. But I think it's great because you educate, and the feedback that you get from them in terms of what they're looking for and what their needs are is, it's a bit like me and John with the league. I keep saying to John, it's not what we want, it's what our member clubs want. So for example, they wanted more regionalised cup games, and then in the latter rounds, and it opens up into the region. And you're going, and we changed it because that's what they want. They don't want to be travelling from Region 1 to Region 6. They want to keep it in close proximity until they go around there. A bit like with you guys, with us, hopefully you learned something from our member clubs that maybe you didn't before, because it's how they see it. It's not how I see it as a league chairman or how you see it as business owners with YesRef. It's what the clubs want, isn't it?
Yeah, they are certainly the driver in the conversation. And we just want to facilitate that and hopefully make it 5% easier.
I think what you're offering is brilliant, because speaking to a lot of member clubs as we do, to offer the service that you do in terms of saying, look, here's a system that we've got that can find the referees, pay the referees on time. Unlike yourself, Ben, when you talk to me, you've refed a.
Don't name the club. Don't name the club. I'll get in trouble.
No, I at this club, and you're talking Premier League clubs, aren't you? Where you do your match officiating, you're not getting your money straight away. Where look, it's these young people, I know it might be their pocket money, but so be it. They've earned it, haven't they? And at the end of the game, they should be paid on time.
Yeah.
But I think what they do, and the more things that you're bringing to the party as well, you have a new concept that you've been talking to me about. I think it'll make it really well, and I hope that the member clubs and that and all clubs up and down the country really see what you're doing and buy into it, because it's brilliant.
Thanks, Steve.
That's really kind.
We got one last question for you that we like to ask all our podcast guests.
Go on.
If we was to give you a little magic wand,
yeah,
what's the one thing you'd want to change about sports officiating from your perspective?
Oh.
And now you can only have one as well. You can't have one for every.
What they say is the first thing that comes into your head, because it's usually
from the gut.
The one thing is it change it. I'll just say it is. I wish players wouldn't abuse referees at top level. I wish they wouldn't, and I wish the FA would really, really stamp down this, because the impact that it has, and I know this is when I was doing grassroots coaching, the impact that it has on grassroots players, then take it on their journey.
Yeah,
it's a mate the effing and jeffing at the referee. You see an 8-year-old do that, and you go, why? Because so and so's done it.
Yeah.
And I just wish it was. I look at rugby and I go, I wish it was like rugby. In terms of they don't speak, they don't abuse referees, and if they did, it's a penalty, isn't it? Another 10 yards.
Do you think we'll ever get there? Do you think that could ever happen in football?
It's two totally different. It's two totally different types of people, isn't it? In terms of
different cultures, right?
And different cultures, 100%. Where it's come from, and where it's played. I'd love it to, but in all the years that I've been involved, I don't think it's moved much. You still look at the Premier League players on Sky, and even if they take the noise off, you can still mouth read. And when you've got young people watching it, you just go, please, I know it's a very emotional sport. So is rugby. So is every other sport. But in rugby, you don't see it. You don't tell them, the referee's got that decision and what they think of it. I think it's got better because they've now got the rulings, haven't they? You can't wave a fake card. What is it? No more than 3. You can't have three players around the referee, or whatever the ruling is. I think that's good.
Steve, it's been a real pleasure listening to you and understanding about your background in coaching, and then what you've done with the YDL League, which I think has been very impressive. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's so good.
For doing it for these 9 years and getting all of these kids involved. And I'm excited to see what your 10th year is going to look like. Your little anniversary, and what's going to be different for that year. Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah,
and it's been really
putting plans in place.
And it's been really interesting understanding what it's like as a league chairman. The different perspective that's given you, and the perspective that has on sports official as well. So we're very thankful for your time.
Yeah, no, thank you for you guys as well, supporting the Youth Development League in terms of the providing the officials for our finals. So we thank you for that. Long may that your support on the YDL continue.